Hello, family. Welcome to the Sageology podcast, in which we will be discussing the astrology of this week, Monday, August 21st through Sunday, August 27th. My apologies for missing last week's episode. I had some terrible migraines and I unfortunately couldn't get around to it. So I do want to give you guys a makeup bonus episode. So any topics, any questions that you have, please let me know. I can even do a good old-fashioned Q&A episode. Just let me know, and I'm definitely could do a bonus episode making up for you guys. So starting off the week, just kind of the general weather. We have of course, Venus in Leo. Venus is in retrograde. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn. We have Jupiter still hanging out there in Taurus. Of course, it's still Leo season. We have Mercury in Virgo, Mars in Virgo, the moon in Libra. So that's just kind of where we're starting the week. The energy that's going on. And then Monday, the moon goes into Scorpio. So Monday is a pretty chill day. We're just having the moon going into Scorpio after being in Libra. And earlier that day, we're also going to be having a few lunar transits, which are nothing that important, but they're kind of like agitating. I will say the energy for Monday, looking at those lunar transits with the moon in Libra, I think is going to put a lot of people in the energy, or people may be susceptible for being put in the energy of comparison mode. So try not to, get put in comparison mode. But I do think it will be nice to use that Venusian energy of the moon being in Libra to kind of more so be idealistic and somewhat fantasize about your goals, your dreams, what you would like your life to be, instead of being in comparison mode and being like, okay, this person has this person has that, and I don't have it yet. So, and another thing that I want to say too is that whenever you feel inspired by something, that's usually God trying to tell you something. I don't like the energy of jealousy. Some people be like, oh, it's okay to be jealous. There's some natural emotion. I don't like jealousy. I think that's a negative energy, and I feel like if you are jealous, then you are definitely a hating ass bitch. And you need to keep that shit to yourself, and you need to figure out how to transmute that energy very quickly. But jealousy is not okay. But if you are feeling like inspired by someone else's life, that's usually God is trying to tell you something, and God may have a similar promise, not the same, but a similar promise for you. So maybe if you look at an entrepreneur, you like, wow, like I love how they could just do this or do that, whatever. Maybe it's not for their business, is not yours, because their business is something that's unique to them, but maybe that's God telling you like, hey, maybe you should start your own business. So that's Monday astrology wise, really chill day. We don't have much going on. Let me flip over the card for the day. And the card says over yonder, focus forward, anticipation, potential, eyes on the prize, choices, surprises. So I think that kind of like touches on what I was kind of saying. I like this over yonder card because, again, kind of looking at your life and assessing, your goals, your ideals, your dreams, like where you want to be or where it's headed, like what your life will be, what your life will look like further down the line, or even that having the anticipation for success, those sorts of things. So I think the card matches really well with the energy. I love Monday's card of over yonder. I'm not going to elaborate much on that because I feel like it's really straightforward. So Tuesday, of course, the moon is in Scorpio. We're having Venus square Jupiter, and then also Mars is going to be opposing Neptune. So I love this day. That's just such a wonderful transit. But at the same time, I do think that it could possibly like confuse people a little bit. So Venus square Jupiter. This is just like a wonderful transits. I love that both of the benefics are touching each other or squaring each other in aspects, and they're both in pretty good signs. And also Venus is controlling Jupiter over there in Taurus. So I do love that Jupiter over there in Taurus is like just touching her with that square. So this energy, I feel like this energy is very delightful. I feel like this energy is bringing forth blessings, but also Venus in Leo is retrograde, like squaring that Jupiter and Taurus. Jupiter and Taurus, and I've said this a couple times on this podcast, is trying to build long-term success. Whatever like area of your chart Jupiter is in, what Jupiter and Taurus is kind of like long-term blessings, long-term success. You know, what do you need to do so you can get this, so you can get whatever Jupiter is building up in this area of your life, in this area of your chart, right? And so Venus and Leo could kind of be like, but what about right now? But what about how I feel right now? What about my instant gratification? What about my instant satisfaction? Like, I don't want to, well, right now I'm not really worried about the long-term sacrifices or what I have to do long-term. Like, I want instant gratification. I want instant now. So I think that kind of energy that I was speaking about on Monday is definitely going to be carrying over into Tuesday. And I will say again, like, just be inspired, you guys, but understand that certain things take time, and don't let like your emotions or your insecurities or kind of like, I don't want to say what you feel like you deserve, because if you feel like you deserve something, then you deserve it. But also take a step back and look at the work that you have been putting in. Like, have you been putting in that work to get to that point? I think a lot of times, especially in social media, we see people at different seasons of their life, and we see people highlighted at different seasons of their life, but we don't see the work and the years of grind and dedication that they put into it. So I think that's always very, very important and to consider and to look at. So yeah, you see this person, and then it's also important to recognize like what season of your life you are currently in. A lot of us are in our building phase, and it's like you may not be in your building phase in your relationship, but maybe you are in your building phase in your business. Like, or you're not in your building phase in your business, but maybe you're in your building phase when it comes to friendships, or maybe you're in your building phase when it comes to like parenthood and figuring out how to be a parent, these different things. So it's important to not be put in that energy of comparison and get into comparison mode. So, so you may see someone at like at a reaping season of their life when it comes to their money or when it comes to their business, and you want to compare yourself to that, but baby, you are still in your building season, and that's okay. Just focus on building. So don't let that, Venus and Leo retrograde energy sometimes make you feel like biggity and uppity and be like, I deserve this, I want this now, So there's that. But I do think that this could also be supportive energy too. So, but it could also highlight things in your life or mindsets, whether that's people you're being around, like friends, subconscious programming that's kind of stopping you from focusing on that long-term goals, or maybe even causing insecurity. So if you are having friends who are not supporting you, who know the phase of your life where you may be building, and who are like criticizing that and not supporting unconditional love and support, like, you need to let them go. Friends who are like, they may know that this is your goal or whatever, but they like, girl, that shit taking too long, you might as well just go ahead and do this. or you might as well just go ahead and do that. It's time, like, abandon those people. Leave those people alone because they aren't doing you any favors. They aren't doing good by you. So on Tuesday, the moon is also going to be making a trine to Saturn and Pisces. A lot of these retrograde planets are being highlighted. So again, that's kind of going to put people more into sort of a reflective energy. And the moon trine Saturn, think about that as kind of like, again, like, what do I need to feel supported? What structure, what habits, what routines do I need to implement to put forth to help create like structure and stability in my life? And with Saturn being in Pisces, this could be like more of a spiritual thing. So it may be a certain mindset that you have to change, like within yourself, or you have to change your way of viewing your situation, or maybe you need to get more disciplined spiritually. Maybe it's spiritual warfare. The spiritual warfare is abundant. Y'all see the shit that's happening with COVID. Y'all see the shit that's going on with Maui and the wildfires and shit. Y'all already know what times it is. In fall, things are really going to be going up. Like, baby, things are really about to be going up. So y'all see what time it is. Y'all know it's spiritual warfare. So again, like, are you praying every day? Baby, you need to be praying more. Like, are you meditating? Are you taking care of your mental health? And so I do think that the moon trine Saturn is bringing those things to attention. And then Scorpio is the shit that we want to brush over under the rug, that deep darkness, And so I do think those things will kind of be being brought to light while the moon is in Scorpio. And sometimes we can't fight all our battles by ourselves. So I do also encourage you, on a side note, to find spiritual community, especially with the times, the seasons that we are going in. Whether it's you join a church, and then you guys, like, whether it's you join a church or join some sort of like spiritual group, or maybe if you create a group with your girls, maybe you are not like, I feel like you don't have to be religious to go to church, but I like going to church because I feel like it's a ritual that is very like renewing of the energy, and it's also good to be in community with people who love God. So even if you don't have the lots of same like personal beliefs of them or whatever, but just being around good, strong, like God-fearing, God-loving people, these are the people numbers you want to have when the apocalypse starts to pop off. Shit, you may not believe everything that they believe, but at least they a good, decent person. Those the people number you want when the apocalypse pop off. But okay, let's say you're not doing a church thing, you're traumatized by church or whatever. Start a prayer circle with a few of your girlfriends. Like, get a couple of your girlfriends together and just be like, hey, I need spiritual support right now. So y'all start a thing where every Thursday night y'all do a prayer circle, or you start like a Facebook prayer request group or something like that. Like, what are you doing to support yourself spiritually? And it could be as simple as like me time, meditating every day, taking 20 minutes out your day to read the Bible or some other spiritual text, or read the Quran or something that's like dedicating yourself to God. I think that could help. Because again, spiritual warfare. So I kind of went off on a tangent, but let's reel it in. Let's bring it back. So we also have Mars opposite Neptune on this day. And so again, Mars opposite Neptune, it could really feel like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what to do. So I do think that could be messing with some people's like productivity, because Mars in Virgo, and then, baby, this is why y'all should listen to the podcast. Mars is in Virgo, and Gemini is also in Virgo. So I think it's good that Mars is in Virgo while Gemini is so dignified. I said Gemini, I meant Mercury. Mars is in Virgo while Mercury is also in Virgo. And I think it's good that Mars is in this sign while Mercury is so strong, because Mercury is telling Mars like what to do. And Mars has very detailed, clear instructions on how to do that and how to carry that out. But as we can see, that's being fucked with because Mars is opposite Neptune in Pisces. And Mercury is about to go retrograde. So Mars may feel lost for a second or may feel like it doesn't have that direction. So I hope before this day you figured out and you talked and you came up with a plan of the shit that you want to do. So you have like your previous goals, notes, motivation to lean on in this time of said confusion. So with Mars opposite Pisces and Neptune, I would say be weary of doing strictly what you feel, because your feelings are not always reliable. And with the astrology of like Tuesday and this week, what's going on right now, I don't think your feelings are reliable right now. You need to be doing shit that you said that you did, the things that you said you was doing like 2 weeks ago. So what you set out to do like 2-3 weeks ago, what you been wanting to do, was been on your mind, that's what you need to do. So when the imposter syndrome start kicking in, and when the lack mindset start kicking in, and when just like the buffoonery and spiritual attacks start getting to your head and you start tweaking, you already gonna be like, nope, I've been on this regimen, I've been on this routine, and I'm going to continue doing the shit that I was doing. So I think that's really important. And also on Tuesday, just know that the sun is at 29 degrees of Leo this day. So whenever a planet is at 29 degrees, which shit, Pluto has been for a good little minute, but whenever a planet is at 29 degrees, that's like very like anxious, unstable, crisis like energy. So again, Tuesday, I do love that the benefics are being highlighted this day. I think that takes an edge off of it, but I think that this energy in general could be something that people potentially struggle with. So let's flip over our card for Tuesday and see what we get. So the card for Tuesday came out in reverse, and I'm actually going to read it in reverse. It says, well, that just deals my pickle. Total contentment is CS, success, wishes granted, mastery, joyous resolution. But it came out in the reverse. So the meaning of this card upright is definitely making me think of the benefics, because this is a card that definitely does with like success, rewards, and affirmation, and yes, and those sorts of things. But with it being in the reverse, that just kind of reminded me of, again, like lack or comparison mode, or even self-sabotaging behavior. You're not sticking to the plan. You're not doing the things that you set out to do because of whatever reason. So I do feel like that total commitment, that yes, that success, the wishes granted, that joyous resolution, those things are coming. Those things are coming, but evaluate your actions, your action plan, evaluate your mindset. Mindset is everything, guys. Sometimes, listen, let me tell y'all, baby, sometimes your mindset is all you have. I don't care if the world is up, if your world is upside fucking down. I don't care if there's nothing going right in your life, baby. If you could take a city situation and find it within yourself to be grateful, that's an alchemist. That's a true alchemist. That's how you transmute energy. That's what you need to get into. When you can see a bowl flipped upside down and turn it into a stool, baby, that's when you're doing something right. And that's the energy that we need to be in. So sometimes your mindset is all you have, which is why it's so important to fortify your mind, which is why spiritual discipline and spiritual support is so important, because we can't do this shit by ourselves. the economy is ghetto as fuck right now. The world is ghetto as fuck right now. But if you could still find it within yourself to love God, and if you could still find it within yourself to be optimistic, if you could still find it within yourself to be grateful, baby, you will always win. You will always win. So, we already at 20 minutes. I'm really cooking on this episode, y'all. Support the podcast. Tell your friends to come listen to this. You know, the ones who are struggling and need to hear this message. But anyways, Wednesday, the sun goes into Virgo. Happy Virgo season. And Mercury also stations retrograde. So I find it very interesting that the day that the sun ingresses into the sign of Virgo, that Mercury stations retrograde. So I do think that Virgo season is a season of healing. And I do think that, of course, I at the beginning of the episode, I list off all the planets that were retrograde. Now Mercury's retrograde, and we still have more retrograding planets to come. So again, it could maybe feel like your world is upside down. But I do think that it's certain things in your life are up for revision and review. So whatever, is up for revision and review, you will definitely get like the tools, the ideas, the plans that you need to go back to the drawing board and change. And also, for some people, retrogrades is really just like about slowing down and being intentional. And most of the time it's up for change, but something is up for change, something is up for review, there's like some sort of old, outdated practice that you need to adjust. But sometimes for some people, it's just about slowing down. You may not be necessarily doing anything wrong. Or let's get it wrong, most of y'all ain't changing anyways. Y'all been doing the same shit for the past 10 years. Your grown ass is not changing your ways. But sometimes you just need to, slow down and be introspective and be reflective. Sometimes the retrograde is processing the healing, kind of cleaning up the emotional baggage, the, emotional shit, the trauma that you just swept to the side because life was lifing. Now is the time to deal with that shit, So some people, it is going to be, okay, this is what I need to change about myself, my mindset, my mentality. These are the ways that I need to change in order to be successful. Some people, this is the shit that is slowly eating away at me that I need to address so I could be great. So I do think that it's going to be Virgo season like all together because Mercury station in retrograde the same day that the sun goes into Virgo. But I do think that, again, people will be very empowered like during these retrogrades. Even if we look at retrograding Venus and retrograding Mercury, right? Mercury loves to be in Virgo. Like Mercury is empowered in Virgo. Venus loves to be in Leo. Venus is empowered in Leo. So although these planets are retrograde and that debilitates them a little bit, they are still like very comfortable. They're still very at home. They still have lots of agency in these signs. So kind of think of it as like maybe home birth or something like that. Like you are giving birth at home, so you're like extremely comfortable. You have everything like that you need, like your environment. You're at home, like you're at peace. You're comfortable. But instead of your partner being there, supporting you, it's like this random lady that is your neighbor or something because your partner got stuck at work. So you're like a little bit uncomfortable because this lady that but you cool with, but you don't really know her like that, is there like at your birth in such a vulnerable time, but also you have your own agency at your home because you're in your own house. So it's kind of like that, So it's kind of like these planets are definitely in their element. It's they know what to do. They're comfortable, whatever. But it's just like something that's hindering them. Rather, maybe you're wearing like shoes that's a little too small, that's making you like a little bit uncomfortable, or there's like this weird scent that's like bugging your senses. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about these retrogrades, like at least of Mercury and Venus. So I think these retrogrades are very special and very interesting. I think people are empowered. I think people know what to do. I feel like people very much have it on their hearts, like what they want to do, but it's kind of like, again, with Saturn also being retrograde in Pisces, like, what are you willing to stay committed, focused, and dedicated to what you set out for yourself, even when shit gets inconvenient? Like, are you still committed? Are you still focused? Like, how easily are you willing to give up? How easily are you willing to throw in the towel? Like, what are you willing to dedicate yourself to and focus to? And of course, typical Mercury retrograde shit. Don't get in relationships. Don't hit up your ex. Check out car maintenance. Make sure y'all cars and shit is okay. No like big purchases at this time. Just wait a couple weeks until Mercury is going direct, because we already have so many planets that are retrograde. So lunar transits for Wednesday. There isn't much I'm going to say about lunar transits for Wednesday, because I don't want to confuse you guys with all the information that's going on. I don't want to overload you guys or overstimulate you guys with astrological information. But what I can say, though, is that with the lunar transits of Wednesday, I think that Wednesday is a great day to be idealistic. So yeah, definitely just still be hopeful on that day. But remember, like, Mercury is maybe retrograde. So maybe hold on to them hopes and ideals like a little bit longer, and maybe implement them once Mercury goes direct. But y'all get the picture. So the card is It's Raining Cats and Dogs. Temporary and tendencies, surrender, this too shall pass, release, and cleansing. When I tell y'all I'm not making this shit up, before I start the podcast, I do pull the cards for each day of the week, but they're flipped over, and I don't flip them over until I like talk about it, right? But this card for Wednesday, this is literally everything I just said. Temporary intensity, surrender, this too shall pass, release, cleansing. Oh my God, I love the cleansing word, because that's definitely the perfect adjective for what I was talking about earlier. All these retrograding planets, it's a cleansing period for some people, kind of how I said, like, dealing with the shit that you swept under the rug. Some people, like, you know what to do. You just have to slow down and you have to cleanse. It's some you gotta lighten your load, baby. It's some shit that you gotta get rid of. So when God's really finished with you, baby, you could fly. Like, that's what this is about. And I do think that, again, this card is the card for Wednesday, but this is also the card for Virgo season. Like, this is what Virgo season is about, It's about the temporary intensity, but you just gotta surrender, trust in God, and know that it will pass. So with all these retrograding planets, like I told y'all, shit is about to get crazy in the world. Shit already crazy in the world, but trust in God, this too shall pass. Some shit might get crazy in your life. It may be temporary insanity in your life, but this too shall pass. It's a cleansing period. It's a cleansing period. You need to lighten your load. Like, even if all these things like start to go crazy or start to go haywire, you know what you need to do. Some shit start tweaking because you know what? You need to throw it out. You need to throw it out. Your remote control not working, like, you need to throw it out. Your TV broke, you need to get a new TV. A lot of times when stuff start going wrong, it's because it's it no longer serves a purpose. It no longer has a purpose. It needs to be removed. It needs to be dealt with so you can go on to bigger and greater things. So, Thursday, the moon is entering Sagittarius. We're going to have the moon square the sun. Also, the moon is going to square Saturn. And then we're going to have Mars trine Pluto. So, I do like that the moon is squares both the sun and Saturn on Thursday, because I feel like that's just really idealistic. But also idealistic. I feel like the moon in Sagittarius is definitely optimistic. So again, while the moon is in Scorpio, like you dealing with all this shit, insecurities, comparison mode, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's alluding to the shit that you need to work on and the shit that you need to handle, right? But Sagittarius always comes through with like that optimism. We always get a Sag sign after like going through some kind of like, you know, after some sort of malefic sign. Like we get Pisces after Aquarius. So like after 2 Saturn signs back to back, we get Pisces, which is kind of definitely a refresh on optimism, like optimistic energy or whatever. And we get Sag after Scorpio, so kind of dealing with that underworld. You come back and it's just this renewed kind of optimism, this renewed faith. So again, like be faithful. Thursday, be faithful. And then also, Thursday is Jupiter Day, am I right? I believe that it is. Thursday is Jupiter Day. So Jupiter Day while the moon is in a Jupiter sign. So I do think that this day could be really good. It could just feel good. But remember, and also the moon is going to be touching Saturn in, again, another Jupiter sign. But just remember to support it with action. So yes, I always speak on the power of optimism and being able to change your mentality, being able to change your mindset, right? But make sure you support that with like practical action and things that you are doing, things that you are implementing, things that you are putting out. So Mars is going to be square Pluto on this day. Okay, I'm about to contradict myself a little bit. Don't be mad at me, guys. Actually, I'm going to empower y'all. Like, I'm going to leave this up to you, and I'm going to give you the agency to trust in your own intuition to see what you need to do. But also, I would say, like, in general, be really careful on the road this week with Mercury going retrograde and Mars opposing Neptune. Again, that just kind of brings in confusion and loss of direction, as well as Mars trining Pluto. So yeah, and with Mars trine Pluto, there can be, it's a very like car accident type, prone type week. So be careful driving, be careful on the road. Only, baby, with this Mars trine Pluto, don't get in the car with people who have bad karma. Just don't. Like, I don't like that, because sometimes when we associate ourselves with people who are doing stuff that they have no business, their karma kind of like rubs off on us. This is wrong place, wrong time type shit. So definitely be careful on who you're interacting with, like during times where it's just like karmic upheaval, like today, like right now. So with Pluto trine, with Mars trine Pluto, definitely be careful on the road. But also, there need to be like a change in your action, whether it's you do something that you normally don't do, or you just up and change and be like, oh, I'm going to do this today, or I'm deciding I'm doing this now, or blah, 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 blah. That could bring you surprise. So you may be surprised. You may not know what's going to happen. But so I'm going to kind of just like leave that up to y'all. Like, what do you feel like? Do you feel like doing something new, or do you feel like, no, like, okay, same old, same old? But when I say same old, I'm saying like don't revamp your whole plan. Now is not the time for that. Now is not the time to like completely change, completely go into a new direction, especially during all these retrogrades. Like now is not the time. But again, like there may be a change in mindset or a way that you are kind of like implementing or going about it that needs a tweak, that needs an adjustment. So the energy on Thursday may come through with that. And I'm also hearing spontaneity. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's also important to be spontaneous. And again, like if you Sagittarius is a very spontaneous energy, so sometimes you have to be spontaneous. Maybe you just decide to like up and go or just do, and you never know what happens, what will happen. So the card for Thursday is a little something I threw together: accomplishment, triumph, self-esteem, confidence, talents, accolades, fame. Again, I'm telling y'all, I can't make this shit up. Accomplishments, triumph, self-esteem, talent, accolades, fame. It also came out in the reverse. Again, this is kind of reminding me of 44. The total contentment is yes, success, wishes granted. But I feel like it's not a coincidence that both of these cards dealing with kind of like contentment and yes and accomplishment, self-esteem, like these sorts of things like that, they are coming out in the reverse. So I feel like the fact that these cards are present, I feel like that's a promise. Like the good things in life are a promise. They're on the horizon, they're coming, but it just almost seems like there's just something in the environment that's not fully inviting of the blessing. So I think it's up to us to figure that shit out. And I think that's what these retrogrades are about. Like, what in your environment, like are you a habitable place for the things that you want to come to fruition, for the things that you want to manifest? Like you say that you want love, right? You say that you want divine love, but are you a habitable place for divine love? Like if you have low self-esteem or self-sabotaging, self-defeating behaviors, you're not a habitable place for divine love. So I do think that Thursday is also a good day to think about, like, am I a habitable place for the energy that I want to invite in and manifest in my life? Friday, chill day, moon still in Sagittarius, some minor lunar transits is gonna trine Venus, gonna trine Chiron, square Mercury. So the moon trine Venus, and on Friday, I think that's a really good transit. I think that's gonna make people feel good. I think that's a lot of fiery energy. That's a lot of fiery energy being highlighted, put on the spotlight. So kind of embrace that fiery energy. I think towards the end of the week, people are definitely getting more spontaneous, and I think that's a good thing. So get spontaneous, some shit that you baby may need to mix up. Like try a new position in the bedroom. Like go eat at a new restaurant. Like you never know how new energy and different energy could really like mix some shit up and really inspire you. Like put on that outfit that you don't quite feel confident enough to wear anyway. Okay, like just do some like random freak shit that'll like really freak your nigga out, like just be spontaneous, be in a moment, like invite in that fiery energy. I think it's a beautiful thing. But again, the moon is trine Chiron, so the insecurities may be tweaking, but just my grandfather, he always say that's self speaking. But I think self is kind of like ego or wounded ego. Tell the ego to shut up. You put on these shorts and you got your legs out and be like, oh, maybe I should just put on some jeans. You're like, shut up, self. I'm gonna wear these shorts because I've been wanting to wear them. I'm gonna go and get this new makeup. I'm gonna do whatever to help me. Again, this is creating a habitable environment for the energy that you want to invite in. So, do that. Like I'm gonna be that girl today. And nobody could stop me from being that girl today. So that's Friday. I think it's beautiful energy and invite it in. So the card that we have for Friday is Kiss My Grits. No thank you, walk away, refusal, know your worth, self-respect, and strength. And let's focus on the self-respect and strength part again. So have self-respect, have strength. Don't take, you guys. And when we also, I feel like God just cries every time we take some shit that's less than us or not, worthy of us. Even if you are in a relationship with someone you're not worthy of, you're in a job that doesn't like really appreciate you, like they're not worthy of your energy. I feel like every time we deal with some shit that is not worthy of us, we deal with things that are not worthy of our energy. I feel like we just disappoint God and we make God so sad. I can just see God like weeping over things like that. So, I think it's about time that we stop doing that. So yeah, self-respect and strength, like know your worth, know how to say no thank you, know how to walk away. Again, know how to be confident, like know how to stand in your confidence. And with that, and this card is really reminding me of like the moon trine Chiron. Don't let other people's projections onto you influence your decisions. And then this is something that I struggle with and that I deal with all the time at it's just being a woman and also like with my age. So many people tell me that I can't do this or that I can't do that. And sometimes it gets to me, but at the same time, I know God's promise for me and I know what the fuck I want to do. And sometimes it's just about doing what you want to do. Like, I only got one life. I'll be damned if I spend this motherfucker doing shit that other people want me to do. No, I only got one life. Like, I'm gonna live this bitch up to the fullest. Y'all see what time it is? Y'all already see what time it is. So if the world is slowly, we are slowly entering the apocalypse, why would I spend time doing shit that don't make me unhappy or to validate fuck motherfuckers that don't enjoy their lives themselves? So sometimes you just gotta not know how to not let other people's thoughts and things influence you. It's important to stand in your own energy. So Saturday, the moon is entering Capricorn. We have some more lunar transits, but I don't want to talk about them that much because, again, I don't want to like overstimulate you guys with information. So there's that. The moon enters Capricorn. When the moon enters Capricorn, things are going to start. The moon in Sagittarius is kind of like a break from all the heavy impending stuff that I was talking about kind of towards the beginning of the reading, right? But I think once the moon gets into Capricorn, it's down to business again, and it's a Saturn ruled sign. So how can I create like structure, routine, just in an environment, a house that supports my long-term goals of success, that supports the energy that I ultimately want to embody? Sometimes wanting it isn't enough. You have to live it. You have to be it. You have to become it. You have to embody it day in and day out. So that means you need an environment that supports it. You need routines that support it. You need people around you who reflect the energy that you want to embody and who support that energy. So I feel like it's really important to consider that. And I think once the moon gets into Capricorn, people are going to start considering those things again. Things are going to start getting serious again. So we have the card for that day is sweating like a sinner in church, guilt, remorse, nerves, worry, confession, coming clean, apology, integrity needed. but it came out in the reverse. So this makes me think of other people apologizing to you. So I do think that some people may, and again too, if y'all took my advice and just had like the ultimate confidence on Friday, sometimes when people see you being confident anyway, or just existing in your greatness anyway, again, that jealousy, that ugly energy, that came alive in them. Like sometimes people will come and apologize to you. And I feel like this is what this card is about. I think people may be like, listen, girl, I'm sorry. I know I was kind of being a mean, hating ass bitch towards you, but you know, my life is pretty shitty and I just wanted to shit on you, to rub off some of my negative energy on you. And they may come and apologize. So I think that's Saturday. People are definitely feeling guilty about certain things and they're coming clean about it to clear their conscience. And then again, this could be you. You could feel guilty over some shit too. And I think I'm also hearing like seduction. This is somebody, I don't know who I'm channeling for right now, but I'm picking up about somebody stealing somebody man or something. Whether you stole somebody man and karma came and slam dunked your ass, or whether someone else stole someone man and karma came and slam dunked their ass. Now they apologizing and just kind of like regretful for it. But baby, if you did that, like that's on you. I'm gonna go pray to God and figure out what you gonna do to get rid of that. So yeah, that's Saturday. Ultimately, I feel like it's a chill day, but just a change in energy. So on Sunday, the two major transits that we are having is the Sun opposing Saturn and then Mars going into Libra. So let's really talk about this. I do want to take my time. I don't want to take too much time because I already feel like I took up a lot of you guys' time, but I do want to take my time to talk about this. So the Sun opposing Saturn, I kind of been talking about this the whole episode, but not to go too deep into it. But that's really, I want y'all to understand that when the Sun touches something, the Sun really like conjunct something or opposes something, is really highlighting that energy. So the Sun is really highlighting that Saturnian energy, that Saturn and Pisces energy, that Saturn and Pisces retrograde energy. So what are you doing to give yourself the tools that you need? And again, when it comes to like embodying your goals, that of course, but also when it comes to spirituality and spiritual warfare, like, are you giving yourself the tools that you need? Like, do you have the environment that you need? Do you have the right people around you? Like, you know, this is so important, guys. And then also that may be highlighting your setbacks, the things that you are struggling with right now, or I don't even want to say failures, but you know, your failures, so to say. Like, what energy are you struggling with? What things in your life are you struggling with? Like, what is the uphill battle, you know? I think that's the Sun opposing the Saturn. And it sounds negative, but look at it in a positive way, because if you could take this and be like, okay, I've identified my uphill battle. I've identified the structure and stability that I'm lacking. Like, I've identified these things. Once you identify them, baby, it has a name and you could work to it, you know? You could work at it. So you're not like wandering in the dark. Once you identify it, once you put a name to it, you can start coming up with solutions to help yourself out. So I think that's important. So that is Sunday. I think Sunday is a great day to just be very attentive and like reflective and just kind of pay attention to the things that are going on, what arises in your life, how you feel, because baby, that's telling you something, and it's telling you something important. So that is that. And remember, Pisces is the bigger picture, the overall goal, you know, kind of like overarching life story, right? Virgo is the small details. Virgo is what I need to be doing every day to get to that. So just really reflect on that and think on that energy, guys. And we also have Mars going into Libra. So I don't like this, but I think maybe it's necessary. So I think it's a good and bad. Mars going into Libra, and this is also just emphasizing to us that now, whether we like it or not, baby, it's time to slow down. It's time to slow down. It's time to be intentional, whether you like it or not. Like, that's just the time that we are in. Mars is in its detriment in Libra. Mars does not do well in Libra. Mars is slowed down, so you could expect to have like less energy in general. But also, Mars in Libra is very understanding. It considers other people's perspective. It considers what other people has going on. So Mars in Libra is very empathetic. So I think this is a time to be kind of empathetic in general. I think this is great for healing conversations. This is great for understanding other people's perspective, whatever. But just remember not to be like too much of that. You still gotta like, that shit cute, but it's not cute to have like self-defeating energy. So never put other people above you or at your own expense. So that is a warning that I want to throw out for this Mars in Libra. But again, I think that Mars in detriment is going to be irritating because it's lack of motivation, it's lack of drive, but it's also slowing down. And like I said, with all these retrogrades, what's that card? Yeah, with number 24, the card is raining cats and dolls. This is for what, Wednesday? Temporary intensity, surrender, this too shall pass, release, cleansing. So with all these retrograde planets and the retrograde that are coming up in the spiritual warfare, I think that's what that is. That's the energy that we need to embody. So Mars in Libra can be the surrender, it is the slowing down. So we probably need to slow down at this time and just be introspective and reflective and not necessarily like doing. So I do think this is kind of like a slow down period as well. So, and then the last card, it says Swamp Angel, Nuisance, Provocation, Gossip, Hassle, Freeloading, Opportunism. But it came out in the reverse. So with it being in the reverse, I kind of think that that's opposite. So again, I do think that could be a time for like healing conversations and stuff like that. I do think with this like card being like nuisance, that thing. So I do feel like, again, kind of like freeloading, opportunism, there could be like a lack of drive with Mars being in Libra. So that's a real thing. I think that could be a lack of drive, but I also feel like there could be opportunity for just kind of like coming together and healing conversation. But again, like, don't let yourself be taken advantage of, Don't let yourself be taken advantage of, and don't get into gossip. Get into healing conversations. I feel like if you feel the desire or the need to gossip about somebody, like, what the fuck, why? That shit is just so weird and disgusting to me. If you feel like, I feel like gossip is so low vibrational, and I think if you feel the need, okay, so if you think that somebody is doing something with their life wrong, why don't you have a loving conversation with them, pour into them, or just trying to figure out what's going on before you gossip and talk bad about somebody, because you don't know what the fuck going on, what they really got going on. So, and I also think that spiritual protection for yourself, that's your own spiritual protection. I think that, like, when you gossip and talk about people, like, you are inviting all types of negative energy in for that to be reflected back at you. So watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. But But yeah, guys, I could go deeper, but I don't want to because this episode is already super long. This is probably my longest like sage report that I've done for the week. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoy this week. I think this is a beautiful week, but again, we have lots of dynamic energy going on. And then next week, what lunation is that? We're having a full moon next week too, so prepare for that. That full moon is going to be bringing a lot of things to light. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Please be sure to like it. Please be sure to share it with friends. And a bonus episode, I still have to do that. So please let me know what y'all would like for a bonus episode. I love you guys. Be blessed, be safe, and enjoy your week. I love you, family. Thank you so much for supporting me. Bye.